We're one take wonders.
All right, ready? It's Kyle and Cam, and we're here with the Wedding Crashers experience.
You're peaking our audio. We literally just talk about not peaking our audio.
Welcome
and you
back.
The episode by screaming.
Welcome back to the Wedding Crashers podcast. We're excited to have you. Fourth episode in.
I
feel like we're seasoned pros. We've only been getting.
We'll probably look back and be like, "What were we even talking about?"
At least according to me, we've been getting better and better with every episode.
Totally.
Let's see. What did we talk about last week? Can you
You know what's funny is
tell me.
People ask me what our podcast is about, and I'm like, "Oh, it's wedding video." And then Ashlyn even was like, "What was your last episode about?" I'm like, "I don't remember." And then she's like, "Well, what was your first one about?" I'm like, I don't remember.
That could have been 6 months ago.
So here's the thing. Like, the podcast feels so good because it's like we come in here and we talk about these things that are like really pressing, and I feel like are current in our market and are current in our like industry right now. Like the things that are happening. And it feels really good to talk about it, and I feel like I can just talk about it forever, and that's why we have one take, because it's like really on our mind. But then as soon as we're done talking about it, I feel better. I'm like, I
think we got it off our chest.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, oh, cool, awesome.
And then we just don't remember. Well, I do remember last week. It was about, you know what? Another funny thing, and I've been trying to not say, you know what's funny as often, because I've noticed that about myself.
You say that a lot?
Yeah.
You told me that I use the word phenomenal
You do
a
use
lot.
phenomenal a lot. People realize it as the time goes on.
Do people say things about that?
There are a lot of other podcasts and shows and just overall clips and stories that I saw that talked about virality. That was a very hot topic last week. We happened to talk about it, but I didn't realize it was going to be such a hot topic amongst the social sites.
Once again, we're just,
I think
we're just plugged in. Oh, I think so.
I think we started the trend.
We technically recorded that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were ahead of the trend.
Secret of the trade.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but a lot of people do that. That's fine.
We recorded 2 episodes last week.
Yeah. I have 2 new babies
because
at home.
Cameron has babies. Did we announce that last week?
I think we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. And now I'm finally back at work today. Trying to resume normal life. It's really, for anybody out there that has babies, this is actually going to segue pretty nicely into what we're talking about today. But for anybody that has babies, like brand new babies, like going back to work after it feels like a big monumental event.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong,
Were you getting a lot of work done at home?
When I was working, yes, but it was hard to step away and actually get work done. So not really, no.
I got a lot of work done while you were gone, by the way.
I know you did. I'm literally watching you, and every time you post all your stories, I'm like, I'm falling behind.
Yeah.
It just felt like I was not doing what I needed to be doing.
I was able to be pretty locked in. Not to say that I'm not locked in, but we definitely have a lot of things to talk about, and then we have new developments in our lives, and we are very forward with each other on what those are.
Yeah.
Whether it be the wins, the frustrations with them, and then that goes off into a tangent, and that's a lot of the reason why we have a podcast now. It's like, what if we focused all of this ADHD into a very well focused in effort in order to have it be, we can get everything out that we need to get out. People can listen if they want to, and then we can just work the rest of the day without the need, because I have so many thoughts.
Yeah.
And you have so many thoughts.
So as soon as we're done we're recording today, we don't have to talk to each other.
Locked in.
Yeah.
It's not going to help, though. I'm still going to just want to talk.
Well, the other problem is we actually run a business together, and that's, it requires some communication. So 2 ADHD business owners is, it's just a little tough. But
yeah, big sigh.
Transitioning into today's topic. For anybody that relates out there, I think there's a lot of, I don't know, maybe there's not as many. I feel like there's a lot, at least in the video side of things, I feel like there's a lot of parent vendors out there. We just wanted to talk about today what it is like being a parent as a videographer, specifically a videographer, but more generally a wedding vendor.
Vendor.
As a parent.
Self-employed. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to. We are both dads. We both have multiple children.
So many jokes. So many jokes.
What?
No, nothing. I can't say it right now. I'll tell you the joke after.
We have 7 children.
If you want to know the joke, just message me.
We have 7 children between us both. And I thought to Cameron, what if we talked about the unique situation, struggles, ways that we have to run our business, knowing that we have a family that we want to be present for. The modern dad, I don't think it's the same, necessarily the same societal structure and expectation of a father. Where was I going with this? It's not the same expectation of a father maybe for our grandparents' age than it is for ours. So to not only be a business owner, but run a business in a very niche industry, and also being a dad to, I have 3 boys, you have 3 boys and 1 girl. It's a very also unique challenge.
Yeah.
It's a very rewarding challenge. And
Totally.
we definitely chose to become parents, but there's been a lot of different obstacles along the way in order to be present as a father, and also try to build a business that more or less has not really been built before in this industry category.
So I'm going to do that thing where I ask you a question now. So as a dad myself, and obviously I have my own answer and experience on this, but what is it for you? Like, obviously you're a nurse at one point, and you're trying to make the jump to videographer, full-time wedding videographer, right? When you are contemplating the decision, when you're weighing the pros and cons, do I keep my hospital job? Do I jump into video? Do I do both? Do I just leave wedding video behind and just focus on nursing? What were some of the biggest things where you're like, okay, these are the biggest pros of quitting my hospital job in terms of family life? Because obviously there's like work goals, and then there's home life goals, and they both go, they have to coexist, right? Like,
Yeah.
Some work goals are affected by your family goals, and some family goals are affected by your work goals. When you're talking about family goals, because I think this is where a lot of us even have the idea of jumping into the wedding video industry in general, because there are some pros to being self-employed as a wedding videographer. What were some of those things for you where you're like, oh yeah, this is what I want for me and my family?
That is a good question, and it's kind of a long-winded answer, and I'll try my best to shorten it and consolidate. But I remember specifically when I wanted to not be a nurse anymore, because depending on where you work, it's all really similar as far as scheduling goes from one another. So the hospitals that I worked at, you have to work every other weekend, full weekend, just in order to stay compliant with how it works first. So for example, you can choose to work every week, Saturday, Sunday, if you wanted to, but at the very least, you have to work every other Saturday, Sunday. So my wife, she had this kind of mentality. It's like, obviously, it's safe to continue to be a nurse. You get insurance, you get all this kind of stuff. And so the argument that would be laid, or I guess put out in front of me, it was, well, if you work these weekends, then that's not going to be good for our kids and when they do sports and all that kind of stuff, which is a fair argument. But I'd always push back with, well, I'm already required to work every other weekend as it is as a nurse. I have to work every other Saturday, Sunday.
Sure.
And Sundays, I like my Sundays off quite a bit. And so I never stopped working full time with wedding film just to make ends meet. Like, nursing was great and all, but with how things were, I'd always had at least 2 or 3 jobs. When I was working at Osborne in downtown Scottsdale, I'd still been doing wedding films. And so on the times that I would not be working as a nurse, I'd be working weddings, and that would be Friday, Saturdays. And so I would let her know, like, I feel like in a weird way, if I only did wedding film full time, I would actually have more of the weekend available for you guys, because I don't have to work every other Sunday and then have to be tied down to every other holiday, because you also had to switch all the holidays. Yeah. I can choose whether or not to take them or to leave them open in my schedule. But that would go hand in hand with a lot of other things in terms of like me being more available for my family, being able to choose those days for myself, keeping days blocked out, like being there. And it was hard because when I was a nurse, it was, I'd get up and I'd leave the house around 6 o'clock, and then, the shift ends at 7, but no one really leaves at 7. I always ended up getting home around 8 or 8:30. So those would be entire days where I just wouldn't be there. And I had always made the point that when I go to a wedding, for example, I'm with you guys all morning. I'm like helping out around the house and getting them ready for school. Or if it's like a weekend day, it's like I'm spending time with them. I'm making breakfast. And we really don't have to be out of the house for most of the weddings that I was doing at the time till like 1, 2
Yeah.
p.m. And then, okay, I leave. And then for those 1 to 2 days a week on a busy season, that's when I'd not necessarily be there for my family as when they were like going to sleep and helping to get the kids to bed at night. But that was a regular occurrence 3 to 4 days a week and every other weekend as a nurse.
Right.
So the time commitment, I felt like it was kind of ironic because I was being told that I'd be missing more out on my family time if I kept to my nursing job, but I genuinely did not believe that to be the case, especially now that it's been a few years outside of being a nurse.
Yeah. I feel like I had a very similar experience. I didn't have to work Saturdays or Sundays or anything like that. I had a pretty cushy job in terms of the fact that I worked Monday through Friday no matter what. But I did like these wedding films on the side for so long that I was pretty used to having like a few weekends here and there where I was just gone for the wedding films. But I think the biggest pull for me when it came to like making the jump and quitting my job, like obviously, if you work a 9 to 5 and you're putting in, the weekend and the night hours with your editing, which is I feel like where you have to be when you're first starting out. Like there's only so many hours in a day, right? Like I remember the year before I quit my job was like the hardest year of my entire life because we had one kid and one on the way. So Ashlyn was pregnant with our second. And I went to work early in the morning. So I'd wake up, I'd go to the gym, and then and this was like 5 a.m. So like before my kid was even awake, before Ashlyn was awake, I'd come home. I would leave before the sun came up for work. And then I would go to work all day, and I'd usually get home between 7 and 8 o'clock every single day. And then I would play with my kid for a half an hour or an hour, depending on how long I had before he went to bed. And then he would go to bed. I'd talk with my wife for a half an hour, maybe an hour, and then she would go to bed. And then I was up till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or really as long as I could stay awake editing, right? Like doing HoneyBook stuff, doing all of the things that you have to do as a business owner. But it was like the longest year ever because that went on for an entire year, right? That was leading up to when I quit my job in 2022. And I remember thinking, like, as soon as I quit my job, obviously I'll get back all of the hours that I'm at work. Like all these night hours I can do during the day, I can get my nights back. Like I can have a little bit more time during the day. I can see my kid, right? Like I can be with my family.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the biggest pull for me when trying to make that jump. I'm like, I just have time. Like I'll have more time. I'll have more time. But it's interesting how you have the time. I have the time, but the further we get, I feel like the less time that we have. I don't know if you feel this way.
Further we get into
like the further you get into the craft, into being a wedding videographer, right? Like I feel like now, if I look back and I'm like, oh, I was only putting in a few hours of work every day, and that was great because that was as much as I was doing before I quit my job. If I had doubled down and put in a few more hours, like I wouldn't consider that level of work that I was doing, like that wouldn't pass my bar today, right? Like I do more work today than I did back then. So it's interesting how it kind of evolves over the years.
Right. And so, it's funny because, oh no, I said it's funny again.
Well, that was a very comical thing that I just said. So,
in hindsight is 2020. I remember having a similar thought where it's like, I'm putting in so much effort every day as a nurse, as I should, like, especially during COVID, there were some, that's a story for another day, working as an ICU nurse during COVID.
Don't get him started.
I basically saw it all. I'm sure that there are a lot of other nurses that would think that I quit because I was done with COVID and all that, and that's not true at all. I was ready to take the next step in terms of my business because it was only making, I don't do anything out of pride, and that can go, and I'm going to talk more about my family here in a little bit, but that's a point that's coming to me right now that I want to make, is that I didn't want to stay as a nurse out of pride and out of spite because I'd worked so hard to get a degree and I was now in debt for that degree. If it meant that I could make more money doing something that I was passionate about elsewhere. Same thing with what I do now. I wouldn't do anything outside of wedding videography or stay within wedding videography out of pride alone. Now I'm glad that it's like the most profitable and sustainable that it's ever have been, but I always think of my family first and how the best that I can provide for them. Luckily, it's kind of going hand in hand, which was by design. So a lot of people might think that I left nursing because I was tired of COVID, but no, I just felt like I was literally losing money and time with my family doing my nursing job. As backwards as that might seem, that was the reality. I was turning away too much stuff. I was unavailable for too many good weddings that would have really served me, and I was basically turning my nose up at a lot of good work just because like I just simply wasn't available because I was still working full time as a nurse. But man, I commend my family for it because it was a risky move for everyone.
Yeah.
We just got done talking about this on a mentorship call that we just had, but I mean, it was a new house. I had just had my second kid. I had about $25,000 to $30,000 booked in January of 2022. And I was basically, okay, I got to make up the rest of the 80 to 100 plus thousand in order to make it through this whole year as a single income provider throughout this year, because it's definitely, my year is not booked up. So I have to just work my butt off. But that first year, you know, we have this great studio space now and this great workplace where we get to come and be creative and collaborative and all that. But you know as well as I know, you have to work from home for a little while, and that was tough.
Yeah, it was tough, man. And it's so funny because when I first started working from home, I loved it. Like, I loved it. I don't know if you went through a similar phase.
Well, I was very like so happy that I was doing what I was doing
Yeah.
in my office space. Like, yes,
It
like
felt
I'm
like
here.
an accomplishment.
Yes, it was
Like,
a huge
man,
accomplishment.
like, yeah, like it was kind of like a middle finger to the man to me, right?
Right.
Like, I don't have to go and clock
Yes.
in. Like, I don't have a boss, right?
It was awesome.
And it was like, I'm the boss. I'm the boss.
Look at me.
I bought my cup. I bought my best,
My world's best
yeah.
buzz. World's best
You know,
boss
and I just
mug.
like, and it was like this thing. Like the first day I went into the office, and it was a Monday morning. I quit my job and I went in there, and my wife and my son had made a little card, and they were like, "Happy first day of not working for somebody else." Like, they knew how much it meant to me to like quit my job and all that stuff. So it was really cool. I really liked it, and I felt like for a while there I was very productive, simply because I was riding this high of like, okay, now I have all this time to work, and I was just boom, 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 and I would do 4 or 5 hours of solid work, and this is where the problem came in, because after about 4 hours of work, and your kid's right down the hall, and he's 3 years old now, and guess what? I missed the first 3 years of his life because I was working a job.
Yeah.
That I sun up to sundown, I didn't see my kid.
Yeah.
I'd get videos from my wife during the day. They're at the water park, and it's a video of my kid. I'll show you. It's heart wrenching. My little boy with this really heavy R accent, right? Like he couldn't have like his R lisp, you know,
Yeah.
he couldn't say his R's.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, Dad, wish you were here," and I'm like, oh, like just pulling at me. And so I quit my job. I was working from home. It felt really good, and it was so easy to be like, I put in a solid it's like Michael Scott. I believe we put in a solid, good day's work all the way around, well-rounded. It felt good. And I'm just like, yeah, I did that. And then my kid was right down the hall, you know,
Yeah.
right down the hall. And it was just easy. It was so easy to like be at home right there. Boom, I'm at home. And I feel like over the years, what is it? 2020, we started this in 2025, and I quit in 2022. So I did about 3 years of working from home, and every passing year got a little harder, a little harder. Obviously, when I first quit my job, we had just welcomed our second baby into our lives, and so I felt like I took a lot of time with them, you know, and I felt like that was the time correlating with my business where I felt not as creative as I was those first couple of years, when I was really hungry and I was trying to grow, and I was like, I felt like I had arrived. Like,
Yeah.
I did it. I quit my job. Now I'm working from home. I have all this time. These were my goals.
Yeah.
But then I was plateauing because I wasn't taking advantage of the time that I had.
And it's so hard. I have another friend who is helping me with my edits at one time, and he was basically we were helping each other out so much because the summers were slow, so he needed work, and I also needed help with my queue to get more wedding videos done during the summer to be able to catch up. So he would take a lot of the wedding videos and we'd pass them back and forth, and he'd cull them and he would color them, and it'd be really helpful. But he would work from home, and he was trying to come off of this. He'd been in the food service industry for quite a while, and so he's motivated. He just had a baby, and he wants to kind of do what we all do, and I'm pushing for him. I want him to keep, you know, not edit my videos forever, but like his goal was to become a full-time photographer, which I was just like really just cheering him on for.
I didn't know it was photo. I thought it was video.
He was good at both,
Oh, okay.
but his passion was photo.
Cool.
He was really good at both. But he'd share with me the struggle that I think a lot of men have is like you're excited because you're doing it, and then the reality hits that you're always home. So it's hard because from our wives' perspective, we're home, so maybe they have the extra help. Maybe they need some help letting the kids know that they can't do something, or they're jumping around, or something needs to get done. So it's not that really hard, concentrated effort in order to get the work done.
Yeah.
Because at least for me, my kids started going to school then, to kindergarten, when I was my first year of working at home. And as soon as like 3 o'clock would roll around where he's home, that's basically when my work day would end, because it'd be so much that all the kids are home. And it'd be hard on my wife too, because it was almost as if like she needed to get out of the house in order for me to focus. And that wasn't fair, because she can't find somewhere to go every single day.
Yeah.
And so I was really glad when I got my first office space last August. Before moving into this one, I kind of trialed having an office space, and it's scary.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
New rents. And
Yeah.
It was this bittersweet, because like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a building again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, take that old job. I have my own building. It's a really like feeling of success. But when you put like the deposit and you have a new monthly bill, which is your office space, like I could have just done this work at home, but then you quickly realize like, maybe I couldn't. And also it's such a blessing to have built a business to a scale that you now need to work from a space that your business pays for.
Totally.
And a space that you can be concentrating, and you can branch out. Because if I hadn't started to think about getting a new office and then moving into that office, I wouldn't have had as many ideas come to me that needed me to, like, for example, like I had rolled out my associate packaging again, and I had worked all those different things that I think I've talked about before with like color and sound. Those are all things because number one, the pressure was there again,
Totally.
from a new space.
Yeah.
And number two, the time was there to be able to realize that those are things that I needed.
So I'm glad you said the thing about the ideas, because so as of right now, for anybody listening, like if you're out there, if you're like a female videographer and you're just like, I don't relate with this episode at all, but like maybe you do, because like this isn't just like a dad thing, right? Like this isn't just a male thing. I think what we're like, the biggest struggle is being an entrepreneur. Like this is the mindset of an entrepreneur. Like I take it from somebody that just took 2 weeks, no working. I was at home with my family. Like, this is the dream. This is why I'm doing this. I just had kids, and I took 2 weeks off of my work, and I didn't ask anybody for permission.
Yeah.
No, like nobody had to. Like, we have family coming by, and they're like, "Cam, you're not working?" I'm like,
Hey,
I don't have to.
Hey.
I don't have to be working right now. Like, no, I'm not working, you know? And then it's like, when I had things to do, like I still took a couple calls because I can. And because, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, so I have to a certain extent, keep the business running. But like, as far as being an entrepreneur, there's this drive that you just cannot get away from. Like, I'm convinced of this. I'm convinced of this. I'm getting chills thinking about this. Like,
goosebumps.
There are so many people that are like, why am I like, we just had our mentorship call, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, why? Like, I just, every now and then I'll just get on Indeed and I'm just scrolling through jobs,
We've all
right?
been there.
Guess what? Guess how many jobs I've actually applied for? Guess how many jobs have ever got in contact with me? 0. Because I never go through with it.
As soon as you take a look.
As soon as I take a look, I realize I'm not meant to work for somebody else. It's not just a pride thing, right? Like, I don't love working for other people. There's truth to that. But I have so many ideas and so much of this like drive where I want it to be my thing, right? Like, I want it to be mine. I want something meaningful, and I don't want to just answer to somebody just for the sake of answering. Like, I want to go out there and I want to make a difference in my own tiny little pea-sized way in this world, right? Mm-hmm. And entrepreneurs all over the world can relate with this, right? So it's like being at home. Okay, good. I quit my job. I have the dream job. I'm doing what I love. I'm making money. I take 2 weeks off because I can.
Yeah.
And why? Not to mention, I doubled my kid count, bro. I had 2 kids and now I have 4 kids.
2 more immediately.
So it's like, you would think like I have 4 times the amount of love for my kids, and I do. I loved being there. I loved holding my babies. I loved being with my kids. I liked sitting on the floor doing the Magna tiles. I liked building the train tracks, like all the things. I loved it. All the while, my wife is looking at me going, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I'm itchy to get back to work.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to work, right? And this is my first day. Like I think this is about as vulnerable as I could possibly be. Like I was so itchy to get back to work, and it's not because I want to run away from my family. It's because I have this
drive.
I have this drive, and I think every entrepreneur out there is like, "Yep, I know what that is. You just can't turn it off. You
No.
can't get away from it. You can't run away
No.
from it." And I feel like the only thing now that I can do is separate to a certain extent so that I can fulfill that need that I have, my entrepreneurial need to like create, to do, to make, to grow, right? And to do it so well that I still have those opportunities moving forward. If for heaven forbid my wife got pregnant with twins again and we have another
Please forbid this.
and I have another paternity leave in 9 months, I still would take 2 weeks off. Even though I know I'd be itching to get back to work, I'd still take time off because I would want to be able to have the luxury. I want the benefit.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you just can't run away from it though.
I think just driven people in general, I think there's going to be a lot of people that listen to this. We're wedding vendors, so if you're a wedding vendor listening, you can, and you've made your own business, you can speak to the drive. Like that's, and you said entrepreneurs, and it's just crazy because we talked a little bit about this last week, but it's about me thriving on pressure. It's about us thriving on pressure. So what better way to create pressure than to have a home, buy a house, start a family, have kids, and then all of a sudden have the expectation as a dad to be there fully for them. And I want to be, but at the same time, I want to be realistic with what our needs are. And our needs are our financials. Our needs to be provided for. Our needs are to feed them. And so that gets me fired up, right? And so, you add things on top of it like new expenses and new offices and maybe different kinds of equipment, a warehouse one day, things that you kind of look forward to doing, all in respect to having a better life for you and your family, but also for the sake of keeping the pressure on.
Yeah.
Because if I had a chance to look at myself now versus 3 years ago, if 3 years ago Kyle could look at himself now, it's like, hey, we did it. We did the thing we wanted to do. And I think most, if not all entrepreneurs can speak to the fact that, man, we're always hungry. We're always like wanting more and more and better and better. So I think it was it Barry that left that comment? I liked it a lot, that pressure is privilege.
I don't think I saw that.
It's so true. And there's been a post going around too on Instagram that I've seen a lot of different people share. And not just entrepreneurs, there's been like first responders and firefighters that shared it too, but like what a blessing it is to be so exhausted in exactly what you were trying to achieve and what you were trying to do.
Yes.
So not to get so sappy, I knew that I wanted to talk about parenthood with maybe a little bit of acknowledging the fact that we would get a little bit vulnerable, because I do this all what's very forward and what's very out there and forward about me is, my work and my personality. But what I don't post about as often, I'm starting to a little bit more now, is that the reason, right? The reason is literally I have a family.
Yeah.
And they've trusted me. They stuck by me when I quit. They stuck by me when I wanted to do this niche thing. And they gave me that trust, because Michaela can attest to the fact that, like, I don't think this sounds like a very good idea, Kyle, especially considering where we are now. And it's been paying off, and I'm glad. I think every man, woman kind of needs that support system when it comes to doing something that they aren't totally sure about, but they see the passion in their significant other.
Yeah, it's funny because we went through the same thing where Ashton's like, "Are you sure about this? Like, is this a good idea?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I feel like it is." And you kind of like, you don't know, right? Like no business owner goes into it going, "Yeah, this is 100% guaranteed." Because if that was the case, like, why wouldn't everybody do it, right? There's always a certain level of risk.
The certain level of risk is what creates the reward.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. So, anybody out there that's in the exact same shoes, maybe you're the only parent that's working and you're a single provider or a single income provider, it can't be understated like how much I couldn't have done it unless my partner on the other end was taking care of the other things.
Exactly.
I was taking care of my stuff. She was taking care of her stuff. And together we had these goals, right? Financially, we're taken care of. And I was able to go to work and lock in and be away for a bit, knowing that on the back end, like that year before I quit my job, Ashlyn talks about it. She's like, I was a single mom that year. She's like, oh yeah, I remember that year, 2021, the year I was a single mom, right? And like, it kind of stings a little bit, but she went to work just as much as I went to work.
Yeah.
She took care of Carter in a way. Like, I'm not going to get emotional right now. I feel like I probably could coming off my 2 weeks, but I'm not going to do
it. The views.
But it was one of those things. It was one of those things where it's like, I couldn't have done this without Ashlyn being on the other end. And, you know, just moving forward in all of this, I feel like a shout out needs to be had for all of the significant others out there that make it possible. I had one of my couples at a wedding that I did earlier this year, and they gave me a card, and I knew what was in there. I knew there was money and a little thank you card, right? And again, I knew what it was. I didn't need to open it right then, but I opened it on my way home, and in the card, it was very clearly stated that was not for me. It was for Ashlyn. She says, she's like, thank you so much for doing what you do and being so passionate about what you do. We also know that there's no way you could do it without the support of your beautiful wife at home. So here's a Target gift card for her.
That's nice.
And I was like, it literally, I'm like welling up on the way home. I'm like calling her. I'm like, babe, they got you a card, you know, it was so.
Here's the Target.
But it was one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, like it's so like I can go to work and I can do all my entrepreneurial things, but it can't be understated. Like if I just did this,
oh my gosh,
if I just followed my drive, my children would be homeless right now.
Well,
I'd be here in this office and my children would be running around the streets of Queen Creek.
Well, that and the fact that their job is so much harder. It doesn't come with a paycheck either.
You know what? Yeah, you are so right, man. You are so right, my brother. I literally this week, I'm like leaving. I'm like feeling exhausted. And my wife is just like, but like, you know, it also speaks to like what you're meant to do in life, right? Because like I can go and do all that stuff and I love doing it. I am physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted by my children by the end of the day. I love them to death. I wouldn't want them to be anywhere else in the world. They exhaust me in a way that I can't even describe, you know? And then it's like, I look at my wife and I got bags under my eyes hanging to my knees and I'm looking at her and she's looking all done up and she's just got it. She's like, I'm like, are you not tired? She's like, I mean, I'm tired, but like, I'm good.
Michaela's looking hot. Like, why do you look so hot right now?
I'm
dying here.
I'm like, look at me. I'm a mess. You know, and it's just one of those things where it's like, she's meant to do it, right? Like,
yeah.
And if I'm doing anything else right now, like I've tried other businesses. I did that a couple years ago. I tried doing this. I tried doing wedding video and another business.
Yeah.
I had no
same here.
I had no desire. I had no drive for it.
Honestly, and for you, it was the window cleaning, right?
Yep.
And for me, it was trying to start an IV company, just because that's just how we are. It's like we couldn't just stick to the one thing. We thought that we had to do something else because. Mm-hmm. For us both, I mean, it had been 2 to 3 jobs at a time. So naturally, it's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so I should do wedding film and something else. And man, it just doesn't compare.
Yeah.
And something that I also want to say is that, like, yes, we're speaking to like parents, we're speaking to people that make sacrifices for one another. But another category that I think is important are people that are wanting to start families in the future. We've mentored a few folks. We've mentored a few people that don't have any kids just yet, but their hope is to build these businesses and the hope that we want this to be an established thing. And then hopefully once we are comfortable with it, we can finally start starting our family. We can have our children. And so that's super commendable. And I think I've always make the joke with Cameron about this is like, I don't think anyone will really come to understand what it is that we did until they have the children, until the children are there. And I say, like, to people that are having kids right now, it's like, oh, how is having one? And I say having one is like having 0, and you don't realize that until you have 2 or 3. We did everything honestly, in my opinion, we did everything we wanted to when we had one. We took them to all the same places, and we just had this cute little baby that we just hovered over and loved while going to the movies, while going out to eat, while going to the different places.
Family functions,
and it was just fun having the little baby. And then you have 2 and 3, and for you it's 4, and it's like, you know. And there's a there's a level of, I think, respect earned from other parents that know, and on top of the fact those that are doing businesses and trying to be there as well. But also, hey, as much as it is more on our plate to provide and to be there for them, for us, it probably evens out in terms of like the motivation that they give us as well.
Yeah. I think the closest thing that I could compare, like obviously family is going to come first. And I feel like the way that I'm viewing it now is like I have this desire, and I have a real need. Like I have to work. Like I have to make money some way, right? I can't just exist in this world without making money, right? So I have to put my work first to a certain extent. But like at the end of the day, my family's going to come first. And then the way that it feels is I give as much as I possibly can to my job, to my company. And then it feels like my family is my second job. It's like, I'm not doing anything I'm just doing wedding videos. I'm going to go do this window cleaning thing. It's like, no, like just chill. You just work really hard at that. And then your family is like, it's just another responsibility that you have, and I don't know how to explain it. 'Cause it's like, if you were to talk to us about it, like we'd have our own gripes, like how hard it is to like have kids and run a company and balance work and life and all of the things. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Mm-mm. I wouldn't get rid of any of my kids if it was morally acceptable. Now. Like if it was morally acceptable to just like, vanish one of them away, or just,
I tell the kids all the time, like, I'm returning you to Target where we got you. You are from Costco, and they'll take back anything. You're Walmart.
Oh, that's rude. Wait, which way? Wait, no, I'll ask you after.
No. I say it to the one that has least understanding of what I'm talking about.
The baby. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the pressure that you talked about, right? It's like, if I don't have my family, honestly, I'm not working nearly as hard as I am now. Right. Like I have this drive to do these things and to create a company and to do something great. Like I want to make a difference. That's what I want to do. I don't think that drive is as strong when you take away the family aspect, at least for me.
No,
and
no way.
I think it's a perfect example of when I actually did quit my job back in 2022. I only had one kid, and like you said, having one is like having none, right? And it's like I can't. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I had quit my job, and we had just had. So my second was born in January. I quit at the end of February. So probably the worst time in the history of the world to quit my job in March. Not very much money on the books, and a new baby, a house payment, and a non-working wife. And I quit my job. Yeah. Right. But like I was working hard then. If I looked back now at that person, I'd be like, that's just child's play. Like the amount of work that I put in my company now is so much more. And I think it all stems from that responsibility, right? That just like that pressure to provide and to create a life, like the same way I want to create great films, and I want to create a great experience for my couples, and I want to actually provide a service that's actually meaningful to these people. Like it's their wedding day. Like, like we're making really cool films and we're pushing the boundaries of the like these creative limits. Like that's all well and good. At the end of the day, the service that we're providing and that I care about a lot is like, these people, like this is going to ground their marriage. Like you talk about a tangible product that somebody can just hit play on and remind themselves why they even got married in the first place. Yeah. That's a big deal. That means a lot to me.
See, and you say that I'm a natural salesman, but I just feel like I that's why, in my opinion, this isn't a hard thing to sell, because like I value deeply marriage, and I value deeply starting a family.
Right.
And I also happen to really love filmmaking, and I love the aspects of it, and I'm a gearhead, and I love the way that these stories come together. So it's a beautiful quote unquote marriage of all of my interests and all of my passions. And so when I talk to a couple about what it is that I want to do with their wedding day in film, it's like, man, nothing drives me more than what you're doing now, which is getting married, hoping to have a family one day, have this great structure within you, and then you'll work hard and he'll work hard, but both in your different ways of doing it. And he'll provide, and you'll love each other. And I'm just going to be the very first step in that, in terms of the memory of it. Totally. I'm going to be the very first step in what is this really cool visual and what is really cool to hear on that first wedding day. And I'm going to deliver it to you, and that'll be yours forever to cherish. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy.
So cheesy.
But it's so true. Sorry, I was about to I was about to yell.
Are you gonna break into song?
I'm gonna bring it. It's so true. It is. So it's an easy sell. For me, it's just like, I'm just gonna talk about why I like it so much. I don't think there's anything to sell besides the fact that this is going to be amazing. So I always advocate, to kind of go on a tangent. It doesn't have to be either of us, but man, it has to. I think a wedding videographer should be there for the sake of what is like that first day and how you guys want to remember it.
Yeah. This has been great. I feel like I've got a lot off my chest.
Was
I feel
this-
like
was
the
this
vulnerability scale
was this
just
cathartic?
maxed out.
I think this is cathartic.
You say that a lot. I don't know what that word means.
Cathartic?
I feel like I have a general idea, like a good, like a natural, like a
Cathartic.
Like
Cathartic means like it's like therapeutic.
a real life. Oh, okay.
When you speak,
therapeutic.
it's like you help yourself and you relieve tension by talking it through.
Do you want to know where I know that word from? Where I learned that word?
Therapeutic?
No, cathartic.
Oh, where?
In the episode of The Office when he's going out to the woods, and Michael's blindfolded in the passenger seat, and Dwight freaking smacks him over the head. He's like, Dwight, what are you doing?
Have my own.
Can you just allow me to have one cathartic experience of my life?
I had to look it up
Yeah.
because I think when you first hear the word cathartic, it's like, it sounds negative, but then you look it
Yeah.
up and it's like, no,
It
it's
makes me
just
think
like,
of lethargic.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's the word that comes to mind.
No, we are both very lethargic at times.
I felt lethargic after this week, and now
we're
I'm
back.
Hey.
Hey, Jinx,
Hey.
sell me a soda. You can give me that later.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, it was.
Episode 004. Wait, hold on. I lost my
What?
train of thought. Episode, is there anything that you want to bombshell drop on me before I sign off right now?
No, not a bombshell drop. I think I want to, to keep it true to myself. I want to tie another ribbon on this.
Another ribbon, you said?
Yeah, like
All
a
right.
bow, like a tie a bow on this. Oh, did I say ribbon last time or bow?
You said bow.
bow. Ah, dang it.
It's okay.
I'm going to tie a bow on this. For anybody out there that's listening that is like wanting to be a part of a community of people where obviously you're a wedding videographer, a wedding photographer, and you're in this community or you're in this industry that can oftentimes feel very like lonely. It feels very like you're a solopreneur, and technically, legally, you are right. Like
Solopreneuing?
solopreneuing.
Okay.
That is you, right? Like it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to be a part of a community of people, because I think that's kind of what got me through my funk is, and part of the pull and wanting to get into this space was like, man, I go to work by myself and I have to like lock the door so my kids don't bombard me. So I'm just like isolating myself in this office, and I'm lonely and I have no friends.
I'm so lonely.
So it just felt like I was doing a lot of it by myself. And so if you're out there, we see you. We've created a platform. It's a school platform. It's called Wedding Crashers. Frick, I can never remember. It's school.com, school with a K, SKOOL.com/Wedding Crashers. And you can join. It's for free right now. It will not be for free forever, but it's a part of a community of people that is growing, videographers, photographers alike. We're all going through the same things. We're all doing the same thing in our companies. We're all trying to grow. We're pushing the boundaries, and we're all doing it quote unquote alone, but we can get together and be a part of a bigger conversation, a bigger community of people. Outside of that, there's a lot of practical things that you can do inside of the school community. There are wins columns, so you can share some of the wins and we'll celebrate with you. There's also referral columns so that you can make sure that if you are booked for a day and you want to give it away and bless some other creator, you can do that, and vice versa. If somebody else is booked for a day, you can possibly pick up gigs. Super cool. And then there's just opportunity to get to know other people that can second shoot with you, that you can second shoot for. There's no limit to the amount of benefits from being in community. And the school community that's what we're trying to do with that. So school.com/Wedding Crashers will get you there. It is free right now and it will not always be.
Yes. And then to get any
Yes.
and then to get any tickets or info about our retreat this coming November 17th through the 20th, or to listen to all of the podcast episodes, you can go to theweddingcrashers.co. That's our domain, theweddingcrashers.co.
Yep.
Or just follow us on Instagram at weddingcrashers.co.
Yeah, you can find all the links on our Instagram page. You can also find all of them on our Facebook page, on our website. In the school community, you also have the opportunity to look at some of the other things that we offer. We do mastermind groups, we do mentorships, and we also have the tickets to our Oregon retreat available on the school community as well. So go check all of those things out. And last but not least, shameless plug for ourselves. We are going to Oregon. When we say the retreat, we're talking about Oregon, and I'm going to pretend like none of you know this, but we're going to Oregon November 17th through the 20th of 2025. That is coming up super soon. By now, you should probably know whether you're booked or you're not booked, hopefully. And if you are not booked, I'm telling you, this is something that you do not want to miss out on. We are doing 4 days in a beautiful, beautiful, I think this is America's best kept secret.
Two beautifuls.
Dude, it is amazing. So Arch Cape is where the Airbnbs will be. One for the guys, one for the girls. For those that need that information, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. But we have two in case it's just guys and girls. We're right on the Cape, or right on the coast, Arch Cape, Oregon. It is absolutely stunning. Not only are we going to get 6 styled shoots while we're up there, but we're also having an opportunity to learn from some of the industry's finest. We got Boomer Bait, who also is today releasing this will be
film
old
score
news by the time this
his film
episode
score
comes out.
collaboration with Chapters.
Yep,
which is kind of a big deal because Chapters is like the number
it's a
one.
very big deal.
It's what? Oh yes, isn't that what I said?
No, I was quoting Hitch.
Oh.
It's my favorite movie.
Which is the number one band on MusicBed. Ever heard of it? MusicBed? Well, Chapters is like number one on there. And he did a film score collaboration with them. And I actually just used their film score collection myself to edit a teaser from a couple in Monterey. And it was incredible. I loved it. Very, very ethereal. If you like strings, pianos, basses, vocal stems, different melodies, and also different even chord progressions, it's all in this pack.
I like all of those things.
So anyways, he's going to be there in person.
He's going to be there in person. He's not only going to provide discounts to said packs, but he's also going to be there. Boomer is one of these things, like he's very well known for Multiply Sound, but he also does this thing with his friend Stanton. It's called the Alignment Experience, and part of his thing is going to be really tuning into who you are as a creator and making sure that you are true to yourself. It'll be a really cool experience with Boomer. Also, we have John Bunn, who will be going from the How to Film Weddings podcast, formerly known as How to Film Weddings, but currently known as the Shifting Focus podcast. If you don't know who John Bunn is, I hope you wake up from your coma sometime soon because he is
You're dumb. That's what Cameron just called y'all.
He is. I mean, he's John Bunn. Like you don't need
he's the
any
best.
more introduction than that. But one of the things that we're really excited about having John there for is obviously he's a very well-respected videographer and has been in his industry for a very long time. Just this last year, he made the switch to photography. I shouldn't say he made the switch, but he's been offering photography on top of video. And in his first year as a photography business owner, he hit 100K. And that is something that is, man, that's just so cool. Like he's just an amazing business mind. He knows his stuff. And we are now opening the retreat to photographers as well, simply because of that, simply because John actually has the skills, the tools, the resources, the knowledge, the know-how to actually speak to photographers as well as videographers during this retreat. Obviously, photographers can benefit from the 6 styled shoots as well. So it's going to be really, really cool. So if you have not already bought a ticket, ask a photographer that you know is going for a referral code. You may or may not find a discount with them. Otherwise, you can visit our community, school.com/weddingcrashers, and buy a ticket to go.
Come to the retreat. It's going to be amazing.
It will be.
Continue to listen to the podcast. That's only getting better week by week.
Dare I say our retreat is going to have a bonfire?
Yeah,
Did I say this?
Yeah, we're going to have a bonfire.
Yeah.
We can have a
I'm
bonfire.
going to say it again. I'm going to say it every week. You think I care?
We're going to have a bonfire.
You think I care? No, it's going to be awesome. And Kyle has a guitar. He's going to sing some songs around
I can
the
sing
fire.
you a few songs. I've been picking up the guitar again.
I've been trying to learn
the
new
retreat.
ukulele songs.
Oh, we should. Okay, we're putting in the work, guys. I am
are.
relearning the guitar, and he's relearning the ukulele just for you.
Relearning.
High five.
Well, not relearning it, though.
He's
learning new
relearning.
songs.
He's learning the whole thing from scratch.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks
with
for
us,
tuning in.
guys. Seriously, you're amazing.
All right, and I love you.
Maybe next week we'll do a written by you a thing.
Oh,
That'd be really fun.
Now that we've
We're gonna clip
now that we're here.
We're gonna clip this right now. Kyle's gonna make this video.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
We're gonna clip this and make this video.
Peace out.
We want to hit. No, we have to invite them to.
Just let me go.
you have to go to the bathroom or something?
No, say what you wanted to say.
Okay, so we're gonna do a written by you. Okay, if you want to share a funny story, a silly story, a scary story, really anything that like might make us giggle or cringe on a wedding day, please write us, respond to this video, or just send us a DM. What would be the best way? Just an email or a DM or what? Probably a DM.
Yeah, DM.
Yeah, just
go
send us a
to
DM.
weddingcrashers.co. And we apologize. There have been some stories that have been sent to us before.
Yeah.
Before we could get this podcast fully rolling. So if you have that same story in mind, just go ahead and copy paste, send it over, and we can do a little what did you just call it?
A written by you.
A written by you segment.
We'll just share some stuff. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right.
All right. That's it.
All right.
Goodbye.
I love you now.
You guys say
Say
that
it back.
thing?
Say it back.
Yeah.